Watch this video if you want to find out what are 3 common myths about marriage. My name is Dana and I own a platform called Better Topics where we regularly help hundreds of couples experience more love, joy and connection and also have a lot of fun. Before I get into today's topic, I just want to remind you about this amazing game that I've created together with my husband Robert, and it is called Better Topics Card Game for Couples. It is essentially a game that has been created with the purpose of helping couples have those much needed conversations in their relationship whilst also having a lot of fun. Its game-like features make it be really fun, and because it has a lot of game-like features, the fun is kept in the discussion. The questions are repeatable, therefore you can play this game over and over again. And the best thing is you can customize the game to your relationship's needs and the winner gets to choose their own reward. If you want to find out more about this game, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. And now let's get back to our today's topic. 3 common myths about marriage. The first one, and the one I used to hear quite a lot when I was single, was that once you get married, all your problems will go away, which is a massive BS. No, your problems don't go away. Your problems maybe multiply when you're married because now there are 2 people, in a situation. I'm not saying that marriage is not wonderful, it is. But especially if you're not very careful in choosing the right partner for you, your problems can multiply quite fast. I mean, once you're married, even if your relationship is really good most of the time, there still will be times when you'll be tested, your partner will be tested, your patience will reach new heights and new limits that you never thought you will reach ever, and also your willingness to change and accept certain things. Now, I'm not saying that, for example, if your partner is cheating, you should accept that, or that if your partner wants to, you should change everything about yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even as the years pass by, but especially if you're married, you tend to look at things slightly differently, to understand certain problems differently, and also to react differently. For example, if, let's say, me and my husband would have a massive argument, maybe if we would just be in the dating stage or boyfriend and girlfriend stage, I would just take my stuff and leave. Whereas now that we are married, I'm actually considering first whether this argument is going to help our relationship grow, and is it really worth having this argument? Is it going to lead to a certain change for the better in our relationship or our partner or ourselves even? Now, I'm not saying that only if you're married you tend to think like that. There are people who are in long-term relationships for years and years and they already think like this. That is fine as well. I'm just saying that I used to get so annoyed when I used to hear that, once you get married, your problems go away and everything will be fine. And no, they don't. It's not the marriage that makes the problems go away. It's the willingness to change and adapt and solve them. Also, yes, having someone next to you might help you, either shed a new light on the problem and situation, look at it from a different perspective, or maybe even help you with that problem. But remember, if you're not careful in choosing your right partner, you might end up with way many more problems than before. Therefore, if anyone keeps telling you that, if you get married, all your problems go away, just ask them, have their problems gone away? See what they say. In any marriage, like in any relationship, you will reach times where you will just sit back and think, is this all worth it? All this struggle and everything, is it still worth it? But then you look at this amazing person that's next to you who promised that will be there through thick and thin, through good and bad, and they're still there, still holding your hand and still supporting you and enjoying the highs together, but still supporting you through your lows. And usually once you recover after problems, you will appreciate your partner even more for being there for you and supporting you when you needed it the most. Now, the second myth about marriage is that once you get married, you become a respectable person. Now, this annoyed me, I think, way more than the first one. No. That is a big lie. Even if you're not married, even if you're in a long-term relationship, short-term relationship, or even if you're single, that doesn't mean that you become a respectable person only when you get married. You can still be a very decent person even when you're single. What does respectability has to do with marriage? Yes, in olden times, maybe people were looked at differently if they were married, because they would be more responsible, because they had a family to take care of, and so on. But let's face it, marriage itself does not make you necessarily a respectable person. You either are or you're not. It's not the marriage that counts in this situation, it's how you are yourself, if that makes sense. At the end of the day, marriage has nothing to do with the type of person you are. You either are a decent and nice, respectable person, or you're not. By being married, that won't change. Although there are a lot of cultures where this is still the case, where people who are already married are looked upon with more, let's say, respect and treated with more respect, that is still fake, because at the end of the day, that person can still be an a-hole and still be married. Like, what does marriage has to do with the person being respectable or not? The third myth for today is that once you get married, everything is okay. You can just lay back, put your feet up, and all will be great. Again, that's a big no. That's a big, big, big no. I mean, although you've probably went through a wedding, and that in itself is quite a big challenge, especially when two families are coming together, not just the two people in the wedding. Being married and being happily married does take a lot of work. Now, don't get me wrong, this work can also be a lot of fun if you want to make it. But I think there is this misconception, especially because of all the romantic movies that are out there, where, you know, there are two people, they meet, they fell in love, there's something happening, they sort out the problem, and they end up together at the end of the movie, living happily ever after. Now, you see that happily ever after only happens if you really work on it, but they don't really show that in movies. So that's why many of us have this conception that, oh, once I get married, once I get the guy or the girl, you know, everything is fine and I can just lay back and relax and all is taken care of. No, that's far from the truth. You have to work on your relationship every day if possible, if not at least once or twice a week. You cannot leave your relationship just be there, because relationships never just stay in one state. There are two people involved in a relationship and both of them tend to change over time. Therefore, the relationship will change over time, and that is okay. Now, you have to be very careful which way you want your relationship to change. You either let it just be and then it tends to drift in sort of negative space, or you're proactive about it and you grow your relationship together with your partner towards making it a great relationship. Therefore, just because you got married, it doesn't really mean that you can just sit back and you will endlessly have this magic relationship where everything is great every day. You don't have to do anything about it, just live it. Yeah, it's not like that. That's fantasy. Therefore, if you do want your happily ever after, you do have to put in some work in your relationship. You have to have some common values that you're not willing to break. You have to have a certain level of respect towards each other and friendship as well. And all these alongside the love, obviously. Again, all this work that goes into making a relationship great doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, tedious. You can make it a lot of fun if you want to, and with minimum planning. Before I go, I just want to remind you that if you want to improve your communication with your partner and you're not very sure how to start and where to start, I would advise you to try out our Better Topics card game for couples. It has a lot of fun questions that you can ask each other while still keeping a fun element because of all the game-like features that it has. Also, at the end, whoever wins gets to have their own reward. If you want to find out more about our game, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. Now, if you like the video, make sure to hit the like button. It would help me very much. Hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. I'm sure there are a few of them who would really need to hear this.